my name is James Kinley. I'm a Principal Solutions Architect here at Redpanda. Today, we are going to talk about the new Postgres CDC connector in Redpanda Connect. So let's jump into a quick diagram, and I'm going to then jump into a demo and walk you through an example of how the CDC connector works. So what we're going to build today, or what I'm going to show today, is essentially our new Postgres CDC input that you can run in Redpanda Connect. So the example I'm going to give today is I have a database table set up in Postgres. We're going to use our new Postgres CDC connector to read the data from that Postgres database. So essentially, we're going to connect to the write-ahead log, and we're going to consume all of the transactions from that database into Redpanda Connect. That data is going to come through in JSON format, and we're going to use Redpanda Connect to schematize that data. So we're going to use an Avro schema that we're going to load into Redpanda. And then those messages are going to be converted from JSON into Avro, and we're going to write those into a Redpanda topic. And that Redpanda topic is going to be configured to be an Iceberg topic. And therefore, the data will be represented in Iceberg in S3. And that will allow us to query it in any Iceberg compatible query tool. Today, we're going to use Apache Spark. So let's jump in. I'm going to begin by just having a quick look at the database. So let's connect to our Postgres database. I'm actually using a Neon database in the cloud. And yeah, let's connect it. We have a table called quotes. So the quotes table actually includes some data downloaded from the NASDAQ website. It's just historical quote information for a few stock tickers. Let's just show you what that data looks like. So if we run a query, we can see here, this is data for the Apple stock ticker, the day, sort of the previous close value, the volume for that day, and the open, high, and low value as well. I'll also run a quick summary of that table, which we'll also use later on. So you can see we have 3 stock tickers, Apple, Microsoft, and Meta. The start date is going to be December 2014, and the max date is going to be December 2024. We have 2,516 records for each stock ticker in the database. Now, before we get started, let's prepare our Redpanda environment. So we have Redpanda running here. At the moment, I don't have any topics or any schemas in the cluster. So let's go ahead and create those to prepare the environment. So I'm just going to flip to a different tab. And I am going to create my topic. Excuse me while I copy and paste some commands. So here you can see Redpanda or RPK topic create. I'm going to create a topic called quotes, which matches our Postgres database table. And you can see that I've added this topic config, which will configure this topic to be an Iceberg topic. So I'm going to set the Iceberg mode to value schema ID prefix, which basically means that it will take a schema from the schema registry and add some structure to our Iceberg table. We also therefore need a schema in the schema registry. So here's our Avro schema. And as you can see, the columns match the columns in the database table as well. So we've got symbols and dates and close and volume, etc., etc. So let's go ahead and load that into Redpanda. There we go. And just to verify that, let's go back to the UI. We should now have a topic. Doesn't have anything in it yet. And we have a schema for our quotes value, which is our Avro schema here. So now we can go ahead and start Redpanda Connect and our Postgres CDC connector. I'm going to first bring up the Redpanda Connect configuration. So this is great, right? We have Redpanda Connect. It's a nice Go-based, lightweight integration framework with a whole bunch of connectors and processes. So we can throw away our Debezium, we can throw away our Kafka Connect and get rid of all that Java stuff and use this really light framework for building our CDC pipelines. So we have our input, our Postgres CDC. We've got the same connectivity details as we used on the previous tab. I'm using environment variables to keep the password nice and secure, but this is my neon password here. And we're going to consume from the quotes table. In between the input and the output, I've got a processor which is going to, as I said at the beginning in the diagram, convert our JSON messages into Avro messages using the schema we uploaded into the schema registry. So this is what the processor is doing here. And then once we have our Avro messages, we're going to write that to our Redpanda topic called quotes. So let's go ahead and start the pipeline. Here we go. So we're creating a publication. The Postgres CDC connector is now live. Fabulous. So now we can go back into Redpanda to refresh our topic. So now we have some data in our topic. This is flowing through from Postgres. As you can see, it's encoded as Avro messages, even though you can see them here as JSON, because the console is presenting that in JSON format using the schema from the schema registry, which we have here. And now just to complete the demo, I've got a cool looking Jupyter notebook here with a nice iceberg logo. So now we've written the data to the topic, but actually the Redpanda brokers have been in the background writing that data into an iceberg table and updating the metadata in the iceberg REST catalog. So we're going to use Apache Spark to query that data. Let's create our Spark session. And then let's run the same queries in Spark as we did in Postgres at the beginning. So you can see here we've got some nice structure to the data because it's used our Avro schema to schematize that table. Got some metadata too. And if we run this command, we can see the summary. So this is the same summary we saw in Postgres, right? We got our three symbols, Apple, Meta, and Microsoft, and we got 2,516 quotes essentially for each of those symbols. Now, just to quickly show you how the changes get brought through into Iceberg through the Postgres CDC connector here, let's flip back to Postgres, insert a value into that table. So I'm going to add a new date for the Apple quotes, so the 6th of December. That's going to flow through our pipeline now. So that's gone through the Postgres CDC connector. We've read that data from the WAL. We've then inserted it, or we've converted it to Avro first, inserted it into our Redpanda topic, and then that should now be available in Iceberg. So let's query this again. And as you can see, now we've got an additional record here for our Apple stock ticker, and we've also increased the max date now from the 5th to the 6th. And that concludes the demo. Thank you very much for listening, and I hope you enjoy the rest of Streamfest.